I'm going to check the inside interior. All my lights to the left and to the right are in operating order. They're not cracked nor broken. All my windows to the left and the right are not cracked or broken, secured to the bus. All my emergency exit signs are noticeable. Now I'm going to start with my seats to make sure they're secured to the bus. And that goes from the front, pull from the front, pull from the back. Secure to the bus, secure to the bus, secure to the bus, secure, secure. And I will continue to do this all the way to the back. As I approach the back, my headrest is secured to the bus. I will open my emergency door to make sure the buzzer sound. The bus is on. The bus sound. The buzzer only come on when the bus is started. Now to go back to finish the inside pre-trip, I'll make sure my emergency hatch secured to the bus. My emergency windows are secured to the bus. And the emergency sound, buzzer are going off when open. Again, my emergency hatch secured to the bus. My emergency buzzers to the windows sound when they're open. Okay, my next step is to do the air leak test. So what we're going to do then, we're going to shut the bus off. The bus has built up to 125 psi, a full tank of air. So the step we're going to do is, from the beginning, wheels chop, engine off, ignition on, and the rate of air should be no more than 2 psi in 1 minute. And we're testing the parking brake. And timing. You do this for a whole minute. And you should watch your air tank to make sure it's no more than 2 psi. Only 2 psi that's lost. If it's more than 2, it needs to be out of service. There are 2 tanks here, so there's 2 needles here. And the needle that moves first is the needle that you test, that you go by, and that would be the white needle. I think it did good. I didn't drop nothing but 2. Okay, their air leak test was successful. No more than 2 psi was dropped. Now our next step is to test the service brake. And we will, no more than, the rate of air loss should be no more than 3 psi in 1 minute. And you hold it down, 90 pounds of pressure. Now. And we will continue to hold it for a whole minute. And the rate of air loss should be no more than 3 psi. The needle you should go by would be the yellow needle.
So you hold the brake down for 1 whole minute.
1 whole minute you hold on to the brake. You hold it down.
And you should lose some air pressure.
You shouldn't lose no more than 3 psi. Now you know you're losing air when you hear the air. You can hear the air. And you know you're losing it. And it's doing good so far. 3 psi, so we're still going. Okay, we're approaching the 1 minute. Okay, that was our 1 minute. My next step is to fan the brake off, and that's to get it to 60 psi, and the low warning buzzer should sound. At 60 psi, the low warning buzzer sound. I will continue to fan off the brake until it gets between 40 and 20. The spring brake should pop out. Once that spring brake pop out, immediately stop pumping the brake. It popped out at 20, which is good. Now, my next step is to build up pressure. I'm building up pressure, so once I start the bus up to build up pressure, the low warning buzzer sound should go off at 60 psi. I will increase the pressure by stepping on the gas pedal to accelerate. 60 psi, the buzzer warning sound went off. I will continue to accelerate and help build up pressure until it gets between 85 and 100. It will build up pressure on its own within 45 seconds. Then I will time from there. I'll start timing now for 45 seconds. From 85 to 100, it'll build up pressure on its own. Okay, within 45 seconds, it builds up pressure on its own. Now, I always wait until I hear for the air to cut in to cut out. It cut in at 100, which is a full tank, but we waiting to hear the cut out, which is at 125, and that's basically to hear the bus sneeze. So we're waiting for that. Once it sneezes, then we go on to the next procedure. There's the sneeze. Now the next procedure is to pull against the parking brake to make sure that holds. So what we're going to do, we're going to put it in drive. We're going to press on the accelerator to make sure the parking brake is holding. And it holds. Our next step after that is to test the service brake. And what we're going to do here is we're going to close our service doors, put on our seat belt. We're going to put it in drive, and we're going to pull up 5 miles and test the service brake to make sure there's no unusual feel and it's not pulling to the left or the right. It's in drive. Push the parking brake in. We're going to pull up 5 miles. The bus hold, there was no unusual feel, no lack in brake, then the brake stopping at all. Now that completes our air brake test, our air leak test. Now our next step is to check the lights on the outside to make sure